Hello, my name's Simon Roderick and I'm the Managing Director of Frem Search. Today I'd like to talk to you about the reasons that I feel people leave their job. And this isn't based on lots and lots of surveys, but it's based on the fact that I've been in recruitment for 16 years, probably because I'm not very good at anything else, and I've interviewed thousands and thousands of candidates. So this is simply my thoughts on the reasons that people leave their employer. Okay, and why is it so important that you retain your staff? Well, I guess rather cynically and quite simply, the two main reasons are, one is good economics, and two, you don't want to lose the knowledge that that staff member has. The Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development reckons it costs 2.5 times the average salary of an employee if you make a bad hire. That's an enormous amount of money. But let's look at the other economics that are involved too. Hopefully you pay a recruitment fee, then you pay the individual's salary, then you'll also incur a huge number of training costs, probably IT costs, and lots of other things that make retaining this individual important. When we come to knowledge, it's very, very difficult in a short space of time to transfer the knowledge of somebody who's been with an organisation for years to a new joiner. So there's going to be hiccups along the way. So it's really important that you try and keep hold of your best staff. So what is the main reason that I see for people leaving their job? I suspect that many people think that in professional financial services that I'm going to say money, but actually it's not. The main reason that people tell me that they're looking for a new role is lack of recognition. People are probably working longer and harder than ever and are probably earning not much more than they were a few years ago. And so recognition is so important in the workplace. So if you are a manager and you've got a really high performing team, or you want your team to be high performing, sometimes a simple thank you or well done is all it takes for an individual to stay with your organisation. You can then develop that theme out further and do things like staff away days or team bonding exercises, but simply say well done, and then people like me won't be able to headhunt your staff. Reason number two. So reason number two is a lack of opportunity. And actually this is quite a hard one to address because since the financial crisis, not that many financial or professional service firms have actually seen much growth. And I guess put quite simply, you're either growing or you're not. And the problem that creates is that sometimes individuals grow faster than companies, and lack of opportunity is a huge driver for people leaving an employer. The other slight problem you've got in a service-based company is that they're relatively flat structures. So from CEO to intern, there aren't that many levels of management. So it's hard sometimes to promote people, to put people into new roles, because the structures are relatively flat and aren't that fluid at times. But if you do have an individual that you want to retain, then you have to work really hard on putting a development plan in place for them. Potentially giving them more responsibility in other areas, or recognising the fact that, you know, if an opportunity does come up within the organisation, that you're going to look internally before you look externally. And now we come on to money. And of course money is raised with us quite often as a reason for people leaving. And so what can firms do? Because we've been operating in an environment where costs have gone up and revenues have been relatively flat or seen modest growth. And so it is a really hard conundrum for companies to face. Well, first and foremost, I think you have to regularly benchmark yourself against your competitors. This can be sometimes quite difficult to do, but the information is out there. And so benchmarking is really important. But the other thing we often talk to clients about is to really think about how they allocate bonuses. There's far too many firms that probably pay bonuses based on the fact that people were simply there doing a job, rather than really analysing what performance people had throughout the year and allocating the bonus to those individuals that performed well and outperformed the marketplace. So perhaps a bit more targeting and thought around what the mechanisms of your bonus scheme are quite important. The next reason is autonomy. Good individuals want to be supported. They want to know that management are there if they're needed, but quite simply, they want to be left to get on with their job. And the more experienced an individual, the more that this applies. So where possible, try and give your employees as much autonomy as you possibly can. So our fifth and final reason is a bad boss. And actually you see lots and lots of posts on social media, and you can read lots of articles about people don't leave employers, they leave managers. I think to an extent that's very true, because some of the things we've touched upon earlier are management related. It's a lack of management skills not to show recognition to your team. It's a lack of management skills not to have a correct remuneration policy. But I think people would be very surprised how often, and maybe they're being polite, individuals raise with us that they just feel they have a bad boss, and that could be a personality clash as well as a lack of management skills. The personality clash is really rare in my experience. It does tend to focus more on a lack of management skills, or a lack of understanding, a lack of empathy. Things around understanding people's personal situation and perhaps providing flexible working. That's very important to most people. But again, it's hard to address the bad boss situation, but that's where sometimes a very, very good HR team can resolve what can be quite a simple issue. So I hope that was useful. As I said right at the beginning, it's not based on surveys, it's not based on science, it's simply based on my 16 years of interviewing a countless number of people. And I hope that there's a few things in there that you can apply to your own organisation and that will help you over the coming year to retain a few more members of your team.